Welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Today it's time for a Zerg versus Protoss, where we find ourselves on Hardwire. Now, spawning here in the top right-hand corner and playing with the blue Zerg drones, we have none other than Elazer, and his opponent in the opposite corner with the red Protoss pieces. We are looking at Nice's main Nexus. Now today, you and me, we're gonna have a look at a ridiculously long game of Zerg versus Protoss. It's been a little while since I've seen a really long macro game, and honestly, even in the previous multiplayer balance patch, a long game of ZVP on Hardwire would be like maybe 35 to 40 minutes long. This game is significantly longer than that. Even though, if you've been watching my cast for a little while, you probably know that I'm not a huge fan of turtle games. Even though I don't usually like those types of games, I am morbidly curious to find out exactly what ended up going down between these two pro gamers, because this match right here is nearly an hour long. So I hope you got yourself a little bit of water at the very least, or maybe something a little stronger. I mean, I'm recording this at 9 in the morning. So I've got myself about a half liter of water here ready to go. We'll find out if it's going to be enough. Maybe I'll have to refill my glass in the middle of this cast. Either way, I think there's probably going to be plenty of opportunities to do so, because I can imagine both of these guys are probably going to sit there for quite a while. I'm not going to fast forward this game, okay? If I can at all help it, I'm not going to fast forward the game just because I want you to get the full experience. So I'm a little concerned that this is going to be one of those games where both of the guys are just sort of going to sit there like a trench war, right? Because they don't want to fight without their static defense. There have been games in the past, and I'm talking many years ago at this point, because Blizzard tried to patch that sort of style out. There have been games in the past where Protoss just has a lot of photon cannons and a bunch of shield batteries, and then Zerg has like a gajillion sport crawlers, and both of the players don't really want to engage without their static defense. So because of that, they just sort of sit there, waiting for the other guy to go and do something. Now, normally, those games would last until the entire map would be mined out. Hardwire doesn't even have that many bases. So, I mean, it has quite a few, but it's no glittering ashes, I suppose. How many does it have? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 per... I guess it's still quite a few, yeah. I think glittering ashes has 9. So what I'm trying to get at, if you have a very long game, I guess something like, you know, glittering ashes would make a little bit more sense. Anyhow. Maybe I can't count. I'm not... Dude, counting while recording a video is not smart. Maybe I missed a base, okay? And everyone's already face-palming right now. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm looking forward to reading the comments. Either way, let's find out, shall we? So, this particular game is from the WTL, which is a currently ongoing tournament. The organizers were cool enough to send a whole lot of replays with me, so I'm very excited for this. I don't think a whole lot of these casts are available yet on YouTube, or at the very least not a lot of highlight casts. So if you're interested in watching some of those tournament games live, I'll go ahead and post a link to their Twitter page down below in the description of this video. They announce whenever they go live right over there. Got quite a few games actually from that tournament to cast right now, so I'm very excited for it. It can be quite tricky to get my hands on good replays. And I figured, let us start off with what will likely be the longest game of this entire tournament. Even in the previous patch, man, we would see long games, but never quite this long, so we'll find out. Anyhow, Oracle flying across the map. Second Queen will be available here very soon for Elazer. Brenda was tasked by putting down a creep tumor. Okay. Yeah, 3 drones there go down. Brenda apparently wanted to poop some creep. Fair enough. Fair enough. Third Nexus coming up before the 4-minute mark. So I know that Elazer, he mentioned this at Stay at Home Story Cup about, probably like, when was this? Like 8 months ago at this point. He likes to apparently practice quite a few of his games in custom games against the very easy AI. So basically what he does is he just practices macro over and over and over and over and over again. So he is probably quite accustomed to playing hour-long games. I haven't seen a lot of Nice's replays recently. Oh, Nice going. Okay, you went Oracle into Void Ray and now into double Stargate Phoenix. Not something you see a whole lot on a European server, which is kind of cool, actually. Anyhow, I don't really know exactly what Nice is doing right now, and I know for some time he was playing that Mass Gateway style that's really popular right now. Elazer actually not catching those 2 adepts from the right side of the map. Just barely not seeing them is actually going to be a little annoying for him, I think. Because those adepts, yeah, they're going to show up while I think the Lings are on the other side. So Elazer right now was checking the cyber corridor at the front to see if the structure was spinning. Those Zerglings need to come back. Alright, well, if they don't, more drones will end up going down. A little bit of unfortunate movement here for Elazer so far in this game. That is a fantastic start right here for the Taiwanese Protoss. Not bad whatsoever. So when exactly is Nice gonna spring the trap? At what point is he gonna reveal that he's going Mass Phoenix right now? So normally with Mass Phoenixes, you go for the Cybercore upgrade too. +1 attack is absolutely fantastic. Elazer has no idea that this is happening. There's no way for him to find out. But, I mean, there's only so many options that Protoss has, and worst case scenario, you can add on some Spore Crawlers. Probably not a terrible idea, right? I wouldn't mind seeing that. Maybe some more Queens would also be good against practically everything. Anyways, there we go. Void Ray leading the charge. I love the Void Ray leading the charge. I would have loved it better if he led it a little bit further. Yeah, oh, okay, so I really like the idea of the Void Ray right there baiting out the Queens towards the 4th base. I think he could have baited out 3 Queens there pretty easily. Anyhow, quite a bit of transfusion energy here available for Elazer. No Spore Crawler that he can bring into the fight, but good target firing right here by the Polish Zerg. Okay, Void Ray will go down as well. Honestly, when you're gonna save up that many Phoenixes, I don't think that's ideal. Yeah. So if he would have let the Void Ray attack that hatchery for a little bit, the 3 Queens that were at the 3rd probably would have marched on over there. And those would have been easy pickings for those Phoenixes. Not an ideal engagement right there for the Protoss player. Who's now going into double Robo. Okay. Not what I expected. Kind of expected like a mass Void Ray sort of style in this game. But this honestly seems like a pretty action-packed early game here, right? Great situation for Nice here. Although I don't really know exactly how good his macro currently is, because the supply count is not as big as it should have been. Maybe his macro is not as clean as Elazer's here, which I wouldn't be surprised by. Elazer, by the way, still at 89 drones, which is an insane amount of workers. Yeah, Elazer is actually... I always feel like a lot of people don't really rate him as highly as he deserves. He's actually ridiculously good. For a long time, or maybe not a long time, but for a while at the very least, before Mr. Raynor came up, Elazer was definitely considered to be like the 2nd best Zerg from the European region. I think for a while it was even like a bit of a toss-up between him and Serral. Obviously there's a lot of very good European Zergs, but Elazer is definitely amongst them. He recently, by the way, joined Team Liquid, which is a great move for him, I hope. I mean, I think, you know, anyways. Representing Team Liquid, one of the premier esports organizations. Seems like a good situation to be in. Either way, I actually really like what Nice is doing here. So Nice has now killed 23 drones. Did lose 6 Phoenixes, which is a little suboptimal. But he's going for a bunch of Immortals right here, together with the +1 flyer attack. He's also got a couple probes derping out over there. My god, that is a lot of Phoenixes. He's still making more. He's at 14 already. Now the Fleet Beacon is coming up. The Fleet Beacon can give these units a little bit more ranged as well. There's the Anion Pulse Crystals research, which I believe gives them 2 more ranged. Which is a lot, but normally we don't see a transition towards a ton of those Immortals then on the back of this either, which is kind of curious. Anyhow, Zerg now going Queen, Infestor, Roach. So Infestors obviously have an ability called Fungal Growth. It's not a yeast infection. It's always a weird name, right? Anyways, that's the fungal right there. It was missed. But you can get yourself a nice little slow on those units. Once upon a time it was a root, which is a little bit too much. Freezing those units in place is definitely a little OP, but... Oh my god, alright. So we have a Robo Bay going down at the same point as 2 more Stargates. And there indeed is the Anion Pulse Crystals research. So actually, Nice playing like his own style here. I dig it. A little bit different than what we see right now from some of the top-level Protoss players. Like, for example, Mr. Zest, but also Hero comes to mind. They are going for a lot of mass gateway, but this is like the exact opposite end of the spectrum. Suddenly, though, 4 carriers can be produced, which is very expensive, but he's got the economy for it, right? So basically, he's built up all of these robo units and those phoenixes. Just try and buy a lot of time to eventually open up the road to go for that mass army. Skytle's units are amazing, also very expensive. So he's now producing 4 carriers and 2 disruptors at once at the 10-minute mark. That's not something you normally can afford like that. This little roach bush over here is... I mean, it's kind of tidied up, I guess, some of the supply here. Elazer doesn't really want to be maxed out on a bunch of roaches. If he can kill the base, actually, that would be very good for him. Yeah, he's going to be able to pull that off. Elazer, in the meantime, by the way, going Ultralisks together with a Greater Spire. He's going Chitinous Plating, +1 melee, Adrenal Glands. So he's focusing on a massive ground-based army for now. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we're going to see double Spire to go for some double research as well for those flying units. Because ultimately he's going to need something to deal with those carriers, right? Alright, Phoenix is dealing a lot of damage. Elazer always has plenty of Overlords to spare. There's the Fungal. Oh, big Fungal. Recall was immediately used too. And the Phoenixes are going to be able to go back home. One Zergling over here being annoying, preventing a Nexus from being planted on top of it. Alright, so this is actually a very cool unit composition as well from Elazer, though. So the Immortals, especially with maxed out armor, can live for an extremely long time. Even against carriers, like a fully upgraded carrier versus a fully upgraded Ultralisk, actually takes like a minute to kill. Like if it's a one-on-one fight, it takes forever. So especially with Queen Transfuses, right? If you can spread the creep far enough, these Ultras are going to be pretty good at sniping all of the static defense over here. But we're not quite there yet, right? Maybe the idea right here for Elazer is to go for Neural Parasites. Neural Parasite on Infestors can be used from Burrow. He's going into a Bailey Nest. This game so far is nothing like I expected it to be. Yeah, this is a very action-packed game. I was a little concerned we're going to have, like, turtling right from the get-go. And I think we're going to get our fair share of that as this game proceeds, but... so far, this is actually a very action-packed game. Double Prism coming up, too. There's the Mama ship. +2 flyer attacks. We have some shield research. Alright, Nice is setting up for his ultimate Death Ball. Elazer not really getting to that stage yet, but he is starting to plant the forest, okay? For every Twitter follower, he plants 1 Spore Crawler. Saving the climate, one at a time. No, I know Elazer is definitely a fan of planting a forest. This is hashtag Team Trees in 2022. No, but it's gonna be a lot of them, yeah. He's even adding on new drones here. So even though he's forced to spend drones on making spores, he's replanting them too. Alright, so he fully realizes where this game is going. So, how many do we have? We've already got 20. My god, he just built so many. He just built so many. Alright, anyways, here's the Ultras. So, Ultralisks and Zerglings are actually surprisingly strong for counterattacks. Especially if you add a couple Banelings in the mix, which I think is probably going to be the plan. Judging by the fact that we have Baneling speed coming up as well as +2 melee. I think Elazer's plan is to just mine out as much here as he can. And counterattack with Ultras and Links. There's a certain irony in, like, Ultras being one of the worst Zerg units in the game, but them being very popular against Skytles, right? Which is like the one unit that... look how long they live. This is not even fully upgraded yet. What is the armor upgrade at? He's only at +1 carapace. Anyways, Ultras mostly being used in the current meta of StarCraft. Nice, dude. Nice is really... yeah, he's playing a clean game. They're mostly being used against Skytles. A Roomba right over here to clean up that carcass. Always nice. So the prisms, by the way, they all... Dude, I really like what he's doing. So he's got 4 war prisms over here. And they're all filled to the brim with a couple of disruptors. Now, Nice is going around the right side of the map. This is one of the few locations that Elazer doesn't have vision of. He's got about a gajillion spore crawlers already in the middle of the map, but none of them are in the main base. This is obviously the soft underbelly of the swarm. Stasis ward on top of the ramp. I love it. Dude, Nice. This is sick. So the queens can't march up here. Killing the hive. Killing whatever he can. Well, there's the... yeah. There's the abduction. We also do see a time warp over here, though. Is he actually gonna land the disruptors? I think he probably should. There we go. Disruptors are starting to blow up units that are inside of that circle right now. Parasitic Bomb and Fungal is kind of missing in this fight. Interestingly enough, we did have the... what's it even called? That other infestor. Microbial Shroud. That infestor ability. I quite like that move, but I do think he overextended. Crisis management right there from Elazer on point. Bringing a couple of spores here to the mix. Giving up the base. Just rebuilding another hive. So the lair is coming up right now. He's going for the 3rd base, which I guess is the safest expo. This is the furthest in the back from any accessible location from the Protoss anyways. Who's now, by the way, going for 7 Void Rays at once. Battery overcharge. Yep. Gonna prevent these Zerg units from getting some proper damage in. Banelings are gonna try and take short work, or make short work of that. Okay, 2 more spires are coming up. Don't really like the position on those spires. Look at the prisms. 4 prisms. What are we doing, Nice? Is he just trying to hide 4 prisms in a corner of the map to just do a constant, like... He doesn't even have charge! Really? Charge is only just now coming up? Oh, God. I'm assuming Elazer saw that, like, there were more, right? Yeah. So Elazer right now is going to be able to get his free pickings over here. I'm not sure what the point of those 4 prisms was. Yeah, I'm really not convinced. There's no way, bro. There's a spore crawler forest everywhere. Is this guy gonna find a path? No. No way. I thought he was gonna find a position or a path back home, but not gonna happen. Alright, +2/+2 coming up for Elazer. Sucking some of the life energy out of that baneling nest. Apparently not that important anymore. +3/+3 coming up too. Protoss already has +3 flyers. Yeah. I would like to see the speed upgrade for the Void Race. Yeah, we're missing a couple of upgrades. Seeing those speed upgrades for the Void Race is an absolute no-brainer, right? I've heard Protoss players purposely not getting that upgrade because sometimes they get ahead of the rest of the carrier ball. So if you have the speed upgrade, it can be hard. Like, for example, these observers. See that? Those observers are part of the main army control group, and since they have their speed buff, they actually die easily. Assuming you know, don't control them anyways. Okay, Broodlord's very far forward. They're gonna get picked off easy peasy, but there's a couple of neural parasites as well. Time warp right there from the Mama ship, preventing units in that circle from moving and attacking as quickly inside of that circle, but carriers here have switched sides temporarily. A couple of probes have ended up going down on the left side of the map too, with, I think, a couple of Ultras, yeah, trying to get some work in. That is quite a bit of Zerg supply caught up, though, in units that aren't over here right now. Okay, there's more neural parasites. Recall eventually was used right there by Nice. And that's what happens when you go up against a Zerg player with 3 arms and 700 actions per minute. I saw a YouTube comment the other day, actually, which I thought was quite clever. They said something along the lines of, Zerg is overpowered when you have 3 arms and 700 actions per minute. And it's very true. If you have 3 arms and 700 APM, and you can use all of that accordingly, like, in theory, the Viper, Infestor, Queen, Corruptor, Broodlord, and all that base army is near unstoppable. It's just incredibly hard to properly pull off. So you can see Elazer is slowing down a little bit right now, but yeah, he's capable of, there you go, hitting 12 buttons a second. And in those big battles, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes up even further than that. If you can micro all of it perfectly, that army is near unstoppable, but if you're a mere mortal, it's very difficult to do so. Anyhow, I like how Nice is using the Mama Ship very actively. I feel like the Mothership here, it's one of the absolute most underused units for Protoss, but it's actually really good. Like, I know that there's the minus 400 meme, right? Which I am not the biggest fan of. I think the Mama Ship is actually pretty great, especially if you can use its, like, offensive mass recall ability, too. You can get so much work in. Actually, it's that one. Anyhow, Corruptor's waiting on the right side of the map. Wow, we're killing probes right now? Just to squeeze out a couple more flyers? That's rough, man. Alright. We're gonna get to a maxed out Skytles fleet very soon. With +3, +3, +3. It's not easy. No more disruptors, by the way, in the mix. So this is not really an army that can be microed much. Basically, all you do is just, yeah, cast, I guess, the Mama Ship. Activate Prismatic Alignment, which is a big disadvantage. Like, it's an advantage if you're not very good, but for players at Nice's level, he surely wishes he could micro an army like this more and get more value out of it by that. But honestly, not really that much of an opportunity for such a situation. Spore crawlers, man. They constantly get free pickings on a couple of those observers. Now with all of the interceptors already deployed, though, yeah, there's the Mama Ship once again. Parasitic bomb being used right there by the Zerg. This is an army that is packing a punch. Despite the fact that there's not really a whole lot to control right here for Nice, this fight is going surprisingly well for him. There we go once again, though. A couple of infestors using, well, what seemed to be neural parasites there for a second. There we go. Corruptors are trying to target fire down whatever they can. Spore crawlers shooting down all of the interceptors, and slowly but surely, the interceptor count is going down. The fact that Elazer is taking these fights so calmly is ridiculous. Like, he doesn't really seem to be bothered by it, right? He's just kind of sitting there waiting for the opportunity to arrive for him to properly engage that. That fight seemed very dicey, but since there were no High Templar or disruptors in the mix, the units on the ground could actually get quite a bit of work in. Okay. Keep in mind, every single one of those interceptors, it costs 15 minerals each. A lot of Zerg players think that those units are free, myself included, but turns out that's not often the case. Spore crawlers right now coming in from the left side of the map. It's actually quite expensive. Yeah, so Nice is actually quite broke. So these Ultralisk Zergling run-bys in the bottom right-hand corner right now are starting to hurt. Still no Expo right here on the left side either, because that one has been destroyed a few times. Alright, Elazer doesn't have a lot of money at this point in the game either, though. He's maybe got a little bit more mining here than our Protoss, but not by a lot. Hive number 2, it's been found, and it will be killed. This is what Nice was hoping for. He sliced the Zerg bases in half, and that means he can start working on the infrastructure right here of our Zerg player. This is where all of the important structures are at. This is the old main base, but this is where the spires, the Hive obviously got picked off already, the spawning pool, yeah, it's right over there, the Ultra Care, like everything's here. So, as soon as this gets picked off, I think this game is probably gonna get to a bit of a lull. Because Zerg will not want to engage this without Spore Crawlers. And I don't think Protoss really wants to fight into Spore Crawlers, does he? Alright, well, he's going to try and do so. Prismatic Alignment activated right there in favor of the Zerg. There's the bubble once again, though. Eventually, the Infestors got picked off. Observers providing some vision. There's the recall being used. And Protoss is going to teleport back home. Alright. A new lair coming up. Oh, the spawning pool actually lives. I was gonna say, you need a spawning pool in order to go into a lair. There's finally that speed upgrade for the Void Race. I wonder if he intentionally didn't get it. Probably, because otherwise, like, the Void Race can sometimes wander ahead of the rest of the army. It can actually be a disadvantage. Much in the same way as those couple of observers have been annoying. All right, starting to run out of water, guys. We're not even halfway in. Liking this position for Nice a lot, though. He really needs to secure a new expo. So it might be time for him to go camp over here in the bottom right-hand corner for a while. Yeah, use the Void Rays maybe for some counter-attack damage. That being said, Elazer doesn't have a lot of money, but whatever money he does have, he spends on Spore Crawlers, man. It can be quite difficult to buy presents for adults, right? Like, whenever people ask me what I want for my birthday or Christmas or whatever, I never know what to say, but I know what to give Elazer. You can always make Elazer happy with another Spore Crawler. Like, he's got 140 supply, what he's Spore Crawler. Yeah, he's just making Spore Crawlers. I think that's beautiful. Other people might ask for, like, you know, nice woolen socks or whatever else you ask for as an adult. What do you even ask for as presents go? I don't know. Socks are pretty good, though. As a kid, didn't really like getting socks for Christmas. As an adult, I'm like, ooh, socks. I think that's probably a good sign you've gotten old, right? Yeah. As a kid, I had like a wish list that was never ending of things I would have loved to have. And as an adult, I'm like, yeah, now I can just, you know, if I really want something, I, you know, may just save up for it or go buy it. Anyhow. I feel like I owned way more stuff when I was a kid, too. A couple years ago, I ended up donating so many things. If I ever have to move, though, I wonder how much junk I actually have. I feel like I probably still have a lot of stuff I could get rid of. Might do some more minimizing at some point. Anyhow. This is where the Tempest come into the mix. So, Tempest, there's that research I was talking about. Tempest can prevent stalemates. Was I talking about that? I think I was talking about that. Anyhow. Tempest can prevent stalemates, together with oracles in particular, by shooting those big pulses of energy at the Spore Crawlers. So you can, for example, do a revelation right over here, and then kill this, you know, this set of creep tumors without really overextending the Protoss army. And eventually, you might be able to reach some of the Spore Crawlers and Spine Crawlers and start shooting away with those. The problem is, though, Vipers can obviously try and abduct those units in the range of those Spore Crawlers and Corruptors, and then suddenly you may end up losing a couple of your Skytools units. So you need to be very careful. Definitely don't want to overextend. You did get Storm, so that's important. Zerg didn't get +3 flying armor yet, actually, which is... Okay, there we go. Something worth pointing out. Probably was getting it while those spires got so ruthlessly interrupted. Triple Oracle? Yeah. Ooh, Elazer gotta get one of his bases stolen from him. I wonder if that means he wants to be taking this expo himself too, yeah. So he recognizes the situation right away. You can definitely make some Spore Crawlers over in this area too. You came to the wrong neighborhood. Try and step down, I dare you. Well, you know what? The Tempest don't mind. Yeah, so this is what I mean. Revelation right there. Tempests shooting their big balls of energy. Okay, that's a little bit sloppy right there, Mr. Nice. Can we do that in a slightly cleaner way? Microbial Shroud. The most overpowered Zerg ability in the history of the game. Besides literally every single other spell that Zerg has. He's constantly reapplying Microbial Shroud too. So Microbial Shroud, for those of you wondering, because I can imagine it's an ability you may never have seen before. It is widely considered to be the worst spell in all of StarCraft. It's an ability that Blizzard added instead of the Infested Terran. Ooh, nice set of feedbacks and storms right there, as well by the Protoss. It reduces air-to-ground damage by 50%. So units that are underneath the Microbial Shroud take 50% less damage. from air units, which is quite good. It's just very specialized. Alright, Elazer has decided to give up that position. He's going to give up the base. Go to the high ground instead. Evacuating the swarm of overlords as well. Protoss is now taking a base right over here. Zerg is taking a base right over here on the left side of the map too. Apparently prioritizing the gas. Makes sense. It doesn't have that many drones anymore. So the Protoss infrastructure hasn't really been hurt yet. Like Protoss, I mean, he lost a couple of bases on the right side of the map and the one right over here on the left a few times too, but as far as like the actual building production goes, Protoss has been mostly unharmed so far this game. Nice trying to plant down as many structures as he can physically squeeze into this space. It's gonna make it hard for any High Templar to even get remotely close. Same can be said, I guess, for Ultralisks. He's gonna find out. Elazer's gonna find an entire fortress over here. If Nice could, you could definitely be... You'd be like digging out a trench around this base too, fill it with water. Make it like a medieval castle. Only have one little bridge right over to get across. It's gonna be portcullis right over. Protoss would definitely make a portcullis if they could. Anyhow. Here's the fight. Maybe I should pay attention to that. Nice fungal right over there. Preventing the High Templar from moving very far forward, but not really something that Elazer can capitalize on. Okay. High Templar do need to be ahead of the rest of the army, because otherwise abductions can happen. So High Templar feedback outranges Viper abduction. So theoretically... What? He just killed one of his own flyers. I guess he really wanted more High Templar, huh? Anyhow, I think he did just kill one of his own flyers anyway. Theoretically, you should never see an abduct like that. Which is why I hate that minus 400 meme so much. God, massive. Really? We're not even gonna try and split? Okay, that parasitic bomb just removed all shields out of those Protoss units for at least a little while. Anyhow, since feedback outranges abduct, Protoss should just be a little bit better at preventing that from happening, right? I know it's easier said than done, but... There you go. Now the High Templar go in front again. Obviously, if you have the High Templar too far in front, though, then fungal growth, which you can also feedback, and brute lords might be an issue. Okay, banelings are added into the mix. They're on the right side of the map. Okay, well, that baneling clump apparently is going to start taking care right here of that one pylon that's here to rule them all. I mean, there's another pylon over there, but at least a lot of this army... Yeah, I guess there's a little bit more. Honestly, that was a really good detonation there by Elazer. That being said, he did just trade a bunch of gas in the form of banelings for things that only cost minerals. So you gotta take that with a grain of salt. Because if there's anything that Nice has right now, it's minerals. Anyhow, Protoss army got recalled towards the right side of the map, so that means that the Brute Lords now started working on some of those units. Probably about time we see an abduction right here on that one Tempest. At the same moment, though, okay, Protoss actually going for a big flyby, just entirely ignoring the Zerg army. Elazer's like, hey, bro, we were fighting at the front. What are you doing right now? Okay, he's gonna be forced to come back, but Queens... Or sorry, Zerglings right here together with Ultras are gonna be able to take care of most of the stuff. Nice is gonna go back to the bases he's already killed. Not entirely sure what he expects over here. Did he really... Questionable move right here from our Protoss. Not sure what he expected to clean up in that location on the map. Yeah, I don't actually like this movement here for Protoss very much at all. He wants to try and find an opportunity to fight this Zerg army without all the Spore Crawlers, and I guess he was hoping that the Zerg would come running back, but now suddenly, Elazer is in the natural of the Protoss, because Protoss is no longer over here in the natural. Alright. This is a very good exchange here for Elazer. I liked what Nice was doing if he would have, you know, tried to actually kill one of the outer bases that was still mining for the Zerg. I mean, I guess there is not a whole lot of that, yeah. Instead, he just kind of gave Zerg the upper hand and opening up the front door of his own bases. So those Zerglings, they certainly pack a punch. They're going to be able to bite their way through all of that production here very easily. So Nice will have a hard time organizing this. He's going for a cybercore on the right side of the map, so I guess he needs that over there in order to actually be able to build new gateways and you know, new stargates and all that. Ultras over here, okay. Ultras wanted to run back home, but instead they were like, hey, the tickling of those interceptors doesn't really bother me all too much. Instead, I'll just kill a couple of High Templar. Don't mind if I do. And Elazer once again takes a good trade right there, getting rid of a couple of those High Templar for essentially free. Ultras have now been transfused back up to full HP. And they're going to be able to fight another day. Mama ship is out on the right side of the map. This is the third? Fourth? Yeah, third Mama ship. 2 of them have died so far. Another Ultra Caravan is being built right now by Elazer. Apparently ended up losing his. Stargates coming up on the right side of the map too. So despite the fact that this game started off with players spawning in the bottom left and the top right, apparently now we're fighting bottom right to top left. Which is kind of funny. Couple of changelings over here pretending to be zealots, keeping track of the Protoss bases to the best of their abilities. Detectors right over here at the front. They're gonna get rid of some of that Zerg creep. This has been a surprisingly action-packed game. I'm pleasantly surprised. Turns out late game ZVP did go through a couple of changes as well. Yeah, so Elazer has a super complex unit composition right over here. Basically all spellcasters. And then Corruptors and Brute Lords, but mostly spellcasters. And then Lings and Banes for counterattacks, constantly. All right. I think I like this position for Elazer a little bit better. For some reason, Elazer is giving me stronger I know what I'm doing vibes. If that makes any sense. Like, he seems to be in control of the game despite what is going on, right? Maybe that's just me getting that feeling. Because I feel so helpless in late game Protoss versus Zerg myself. Like, I can't play this situation from the Zerg's perspective for the life of me. Like, whenever I try to do this, I look like a toddler who just learned how to walk, man. All my units get caught in 2 storms, I lose everything to 2 disruptor hits, and then I fat finger all my hotkeys. Elazer seems to be completely comfortable in those big fights. And at the very least, I like the way he's moving around the map a little bit better. Okay, Archon's in the mix right now. Yep, decides to back off. Put it up, bow. Alright, Elazer moving on over to the front. Spore Crawlers brought to the party. There's quite a few here that still are uprooted. Might want to move those a little further forward too. Isn't this good though for the Protoss? Can't he just pick this off? He's got Tempest. Free Ultralisk. So there's 3 Vipers, 9 Infestors. The Tempest really needs to start working on some of these structures though. Because if they don't, it's gonna be a disaster. I don't like the Interceptors being used on this. Isn't that exactly what Zerg wants? Nice still has 10,000 minerals, so I guess he can build interceptors for a good while longer. But Zerg doesn't really lose much. Okay, well, you know what? If you start picking up... Okay, that's good. He's got enough Tempest to just barely one-shot the Brutes. Apparently the magic number here is 5. It's 5, by the way, for most expensive things in the game. With 5 Tempest shots, you can kill a lot of stuff pretty easily. Zerg moving on over once again towards the right side of the map. Stalkers being worked in. Those may be the first Stalkers this entire game. Oh, no, 2 of them died. Anyhow. Like the mythological Hydra. You kill 5 creep tumors, or sorry, 5 photon cannons and 15 photon cannons in return. It's starting to no longer be worth it, though. Because he just spent 1,000+ minerals on building all of this up, and there's really not that much money remaining in the mineral fields over here. Other than, I guess, positional awareness, because, like, there's also, you know, the infrastructure that was rebuilt right over there on the low ground. Want to prevent the Zerg from just running over there. 13 more spores, by the way, are coming up. Probes are being sacrificed right now by Protoss. Zerg only has 19 drones remaining. Reason being is that there's no mineral fields for him to mine. Yeah, these are the only mineral fields right over here. He could transfer some of those drones on over there to mine that a little bit more optimally, but we are getting to the point where there's going to be 0 mining. There's still some money remaining in that base. Neither player is really starving for money, though. Oh, infestors! Nice catch right there for the Protoss. Ooh, that was beautiful for him. All right, well, 11 more come up, but that was exactly what the Protoss player was hoping for. Significant misplay right there from Elazer. Yep, he was trying to move forward, but not happening. Ultras right now, though. Gonna start working on some of those structures once more, forcing the retreat right here at the very least, though, is the Protoss. Those infestors are gonna need some time to build up their energy, which is probably the main reason why Elazer wants to back off. Doesn't really want to sit out there like a sitting duck in the middle of the map. With an army that's gonna be suboptimal. Templar Archives, couple gateways. 1 High Templar was left behind over here too to cast storms. And he's trying to go for a wall off over here. Kind of like that actually. Did get cancelled. Okay. "42.5 minutes in. I am still unsure who's winning this. We are one gigantic misplay away from an absolute disaster here for Elazer. Nice still has a little bit of wiggle room. Nice still has 15,000 resources in the bank. Elazer has only 5k. If you look right here at the army value, though, so this really tells the story. So Elazer's army right now is worth 11,000 minerals and 8,000 gas. So he can't really lose much. Like, Nice can essentially remax his entire army once more. Given enough time, obviously. But Elazer doesn't have that luxury anymore. Okay. Couple of oracles here get abducted too. Oh my god. Oh my god, that was beautiful though by Elazer. Just once again snatching a couple of those High Templar. You need to make more High Templar, Nice. Nice starts up a Mama ship, and I think he started up a few Tempests or something, but he really needs to... He's got... Does he have any High Templar? He's got 1. Please make some more High... Oh, he lost the Templar Archives! The Templar Archives was over here. He just realized that he lost the Templar Archives and he never rebuilt it. That's actually a problem. Very significant issue right there. He's now panicking a little. Decides to go for 2 more carriers, which I don't think is what you want. High Templar have too much utility to give up on. Okay. Elazer's gonna try and see if he can capitalize on this situation. More carriers don't really make that army that much better. High Templar make this army substantially better. Or disruptors. Wouldn't mind seeing a couple disruptors either. Okay. Nice right now with his back against the wall. Forced all the way back towards the right side of the map. That being said, there's still Archons in the mix, which is fantastic. There's still a couple of Storms available too. Nice feedbacks. Once again, preventing this from dealing maximum damage. Templar Archives at this point is available. Some more High Templar are now out. Well, only 2 in total right now. But Elazer is going in for an absolute masterful move here. Really nice play right here by our Polish Zerg. He needs to be so cautious though. A lot of the interceptor ships have been killed as well, so Nice is forced to rebuild some of those. Okay, couple abductions once again, or only one of them, but apparently enough to start at least one-shotting some of those Protoss units. Nexus right over here gets killed too. Fleet Beacon and that, well, next Templar Archives is also over there. Okay. Very good movement right here by Elazer. He's out of energy on a lot of his spellcasters now, so he decides to back off. Whew. Okay. More Vipers coming right up. Elazer only with a little bit of money in the bank. Those last couple of trades of his have been fantastic. You can see actually resource-wise, Protoss has lost a lot of stuff. But Nice's bank is still definitely a little nicer. Pun intended. Softening up a couple of those things here and there. Spore Crawlers coming back to the front. I don't think the Tempest usage here has been optimal at all, by the way. Like, the Tempest usage could have been significantly better. Tempest Oracle is a sick combination, and I understand that it's very hard. But, like, look, there's Revelation right now on those queens. Yeah, exactly. Like, we should be seeing that all the time. There's no reason why we don't see it. Other than the fact that, like, it's hard, right? Like, it's it's complex to do. But I think we should be seeing that with the... what are they called? Like, the High Templar over here could prevent a lot of the damage that the Zerg can do over that little crevice. I think Nice is probably not comfortable playing that sort of style, though. But I am a little bit afraid that Elazer is going for the slowest choke in wrestling history right here. Elazer says draw? Okay then. Nice does not want to draw. I don't think this is a draw. No, I don't actually think this is a draw. So there is an automated draw detector in the game. I think Elazer might just be tired, man. Like, these kind of games, mentally extremely exhausting. Like, if you're tired of watching this, imagine you're playing this game. Right? Like these guys are, they're playing super fast. Like, these are... I would like to know how many calories these guys burn during games like this, because these are sweaty games. I can tell you that much. Anyhow, there is an automated stalemate detector in the game. Basically, if for a certain amount of time nothing gets killed, it will automatically end the game after 5 minutes after it gets detected. So, like, I think it's 5 minutes or I don't know, 3 minutes? I'm not sure. But basically, if nothing gets killed for a little while, a stalemate detector is on, and then a timer starts counting down, and then if during that timer something will be killed once again, everything gets reset. But there is a system in place to prevent, like, the games from being completely passive. I think Nice is probably looking at his bank, he's looking at his army, he's like, wait a second, I still have, like, the dream team together. Even though it might not be 100% full HP, he still has a good amount of stuff. That would actually even be better. Like, that would be the ultimate outcome for a game like this. An hour worth... Yeah, screw you, Stalkers. I was wondering why we decided to go for those. An hour worth of StarCraft 2 ending in a draw. Super action-packed game. Everything ends in a draw. That would be something. Okay. Yeah, Elazer asking for a draw there does show that he wants to let his guard down a little bit, right? Like or he's letting his guard down a little bit, rather. Like, it's a sign of weakness in a game like this, that's for sure. We're adding on Immortals. I kind of dig it. I think a couple of Immortals is not a bad idea. Nice needs a new pylon. Couple of Immortals to work against those Ultras is usually what Protoss players do quite a bit earlier. Immortals absolutely tear through the Ultralisks. Anyways, Elazer at this point is AFK building a SimCity back up. Maybe he's playing SimCity, actually. One of the main problems you run into in games like SimCity is traffic jams. So that's why he's leaving a little bit of space right there in between the spore crawlers to make sure that the Zerg intersections here are at least somewhat optimal. Public transport in the form of Nidus worms, definitely something to consider. Not because it will, you know, be a good addition to this game, but it will allow you to, you know, make the movement through the spore crawlers a bit easier. Don't think it's gonna be very useful in a game like this, though. Nah. That was a storm just for fun. Didn't need to do that. That was too juicy of a clump right there. Nice couldn't, he couldn't, you know, couldn't resist. Alright. 3 workers on the side of Protoss, 13 on the side of Zerg. Might be time for Elazer to morph these drones into spore crawlers too. Or sacrifice them or something and try to add on some final units. What would you even add on at this point? I don't know, maybe a few more infestors? A couple more corruptors? Something like that. After watching Hero play a lot of those extremely action-packed games of PvZ, this is like a stark contrast, right? Careful though, fungal growth being used. Okay, he's scared, immediately recalls. And guess what? Nice is gonna now wait until recall is available again, I'm pretty sure. I don't think he wants to move until recall is once again available. It's a couple minutes of cooldown. I mean, he could try, but it's risky. There's no advantage for him to... Oh, the Immortals are stuck. There's no reason for him to get too aggressive here. Without recoil, you really do lose a little bit. Oh, he's gonna try and long distance mine minerals over here at the 3rd base. Fair enough. It's a very long trip, though. Oh my god, they're gonna try and take it to the hatchery all the way over there. Elazer with the sick 55 mineral income a minute. You can produce 2 Zerglings every minute that goes by. Right? Oh shit! Oh, look at that! Amazing. Drones have arrived at their destination. You know what we need? Tactical nukes. You should be able to send in one of those carriers right now. As a reminder of the Ganther Thor. To send it into a collision course into that spore crawler forest. That would be amazing. The new carrier ability. It's an ability in... I'm playing a custom campaign right now called Legacy of the Meme. That playthrough will go up on more Lowko in the future, by the way, in case you want to check out that full campaign playthrough. But basically it replaces all of the campaign units with other units. And carriers are very similar, except they have a new ability called, I think, like Reminder of Tassadar or something like that. Where basically you can create a little mini nuke by flying a carrier into, you know, a target on the other side of the map. And it's actually really sick. Imagine you could, like, take this carrier and then, like, right-click it right there over on that spore crawler, and the carrier just YOLOs in there and explodes on impact. I mean, I don't know if it would be very cool in multiplayer, but it's interesting in the campaign, I can tell you that much. Okay. Nice, getting a little bit more aggressive. He needs to be... okay. Needs to be cautious. Okay, another Archon added into the mix. High Templar are dangerously low. Okay, Nice gonna spend some of his final money on adding on some shield batteries right now on the low ground. Picking away at the Zerg static defense made him realize that some of his own static defense might be useful. Very ambitious little drone over there. Careful now, bro. Oh my god, dude. Losing a High Templar for free here would not be ideal. Elazer, by the way, is out of gas. No gas remaining right here for the Polish Zerg. Meaning that these infestors he's building right now are gonna be his last. What are you gonna add on right now with your final money? Maybe some queens? Yeah, 5 queens is like the most logical thing. Not a whole lot here that the Zerg player can do. So he decides to retreat. Protoss going deeper and deeper onto the creep. Don't overextend, Nice. You're doing very nicely so far. Okay, that was nice. I mean, with feedbacks, but also nice. As in, you know, the word. Anyhow, here we go. This is apparently the moment where Elazer decides to commit. That time warp is dealing a lot of damage, though, buying so much time right here for those Zerg units. Or for the Protoss units, rather, to deal their maximum amount of damage. That being said, there's so many Spore Crawlers available, though. Is this really the place where you want to fight Nice? I'm not 100% sure. Parasitic Bomb right there, not microed against again. Really hurting these Protoss units way more than they should. Couple more storms would be fantastic. Nice is losing way more stuff here than he needs to. Honestly, that was an overextension right there by our Protoss player from Taiwan. Is there enough for the Zerg player to pick off all of those final Protoss units? I think there might just be enough. My god, Nice. Overstaying is welcome there. Like, he decided to fly way deep over those Spore Crawlers. He could have picked them off slowly but surely. Still, though, it's got a little bit of money remaining. Zerg does not have the cash. That's actually an important thing to note. Zerg doesn't have the cash to morph in Brute Lords. So normally what you would do right here as a Zerg player is morph in Brute Lords after your Corruptors get left over. The supply count right now from Protoss is a little bit deceiving. Elazer is at 69. 68 right now. A little bit less Nice. But a lot of that supply is caught up right now in 16 Corruptors that don't do anything. So apparently the transition from Nice is a full-on ground army. He needs to be exceptionally careful here with his observers. Please don't... Yeah, okay, I was gonna say, please do not fly the observers into Spore Crawlers. Zerg has Burrow, so that Ultra stayed alive because of Burrow. Zerg also still has 7 queens available for transfusion. This game is now significantly closer than it needed to be. I don't think Nice needed to go that deep, but if he ends up losing the game because of that move, I think he's gonna be very disappointed about it, because that was definitely an overextension there. Fighting for like a good half minute on top of Spore Crawlers was completely unnecessary. Anyhow, apparently he assumed that he was further ahead than he was. Maybe he's also getting mentally a little bit tired. Nice is spending his last resources right now on a bunch of Archons and an Immortal. 2 Immortals, actually. Immortals are going to be pretty sweet. Queens pop out of the ground to transfuse the Spine Crawler. One Stalker there does end up going down. Fungal Growth trying to prevent that group of Stalkers from escaping. Honestly, if that Fungal would have landed, the Zerglings would have run in, and I think that may have been a disaster. Still, though, Nice has mustered up a pretty good army. High Templar have Storm and Feedback. Zerg at this point sees the Protoss army, and he's probably starting to be concerned. If only he had a little bit of gas to now spend some of his money. Go into some Brute Lords, right? He's gonna have to rely on his static defense once more. Ultra gets baited all the way out. There it is. GG is called. Eventually, after an hour-long, surprisingly epic game, Mr. Nice obtains the victory. I mean, before starting this cast, I was a little bit concerned that both of these guys would just sort of sit there at the halfway point and just never really make a whole lot of moves, but this was actually pretty sick. If you want to watch more StarCraft 2, I upload new videos pretty much every day. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified as soon as a new video goes live.